All right. Looks like we're going here. I'm going to wait till I have a viewer. I'm going to wait till I have a few viewers. And I'm going to wait to see if you could actually see me, if you could hear me. This is all very exciting. We're starting all brand new right here on my own little YouTube channel. I launched the YouTube channel a few days ago. We're already at 2,637 subscribers. So looks like people are subscribing, and I'm going to start be doing videos live every day as best I can. Now, this is a brand new channel, so it's kind of like starting from scratch, like I did at the Young Turks in 2016. When I started at TYT Politics in January of 2016, TYT Politics had around 2,000 subscribers. At the moment, I have, let's see, 2,637 subscribers. So I am ahead of the game, folks. So really, it's a completely different climate than 2016 when I launched, when I basically was I was the first reporter for TYT Politics. YouTube is now demonetizing independent media. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter is now suppressing independent media. So I will be doing kind of an a la carte, but also a lot of outlets at the same time. I'll be trying to do simulcasts where I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and all whatever else is new that I don't know about at the same time. But I hope what you could do for me, this is going to be a grassroots media revolution. Right now, I only have 18 viewers. But eventually, that 18 is going to turn to 800. And that 800 is going to turn to 8,000. And we are going to launch a media revolution. I'm not talking in terms of bumper stickers. I'm talking, I really believe we could do it. Because what is needed, folks, eventually I will be back in the field. Currently, if you didn't watch my return video the other night, I am currently working on trademarking a name for a for-profit company. So stay tuned for the announcement on whether we get that name or not. Then I'm going to be sending a business plan to potential investors. Then I am going to be starting slowly to launch a company. That company is going to be bigger than just me. This is going to be me with other independent, fearless, aggressive, progressive reporters. And I am going to make sure that they are the type of reporters and that they cover the things that you deserve as the audience. This isn't about me. This is about creating the media we all want to see. And I've already done a few videos on this channel. So definitely turn on your notifications so you know when I'm live. Right now, it's okay. I'm talking to less people. We're going to be, as the channel grows, the audience will grow. But I kind of like it because you are, honestly, the inaugural subscribers to the media revolution. And by the way, chapter 4 of my book, Corporate Con Job, this chapter, all about the unprecedented election fraud that went on in 2016, just published today to my Patreon. It's exclusively for patrons. We're going to release it only for the Patreons the first week or two. So if you want to read chapter 4 and learn the full extent and the behind the scenes of what happened in 2016, patreon.com/Jordan Chariton. So Bernie Sanders, who actually was in Michigan last night, stumping for candidates. Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America. You don't really hear that on CNN. Don't read about it in the New York Times. He's the most popular politician in America. He is the spark that has led to all of these unprecedented level of candidates running in primaries, a large majority of them unprecedented levels of female candidates, which is a great thing running. We're going to start seeing some of these progressives start winning over the next few weeks. We just saw California's Democratic Party for the first time since like the invention of bread refused to endorse California establishment stooge Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein. Refused to endorse her. So somebody wrote, as long as you take only what you need and put the rest back into the cause, for profit is fine. Oh, that's the plan. But let me make it very, very clear. True, independent, in the field journalism it costs money. There's no way of sugarcoating that. So, as I've said in the video that I did when I returned the other day, we need collectively, and I'm being honest, we're going to have to not only talk the talk, but we're going to have to walk the walk. Every single viewer is going to have to contribute, whether that's $5 a month, whether that's $10 a month, whether that's $15 a month. I know, I fully understand that a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of us don't even have $1 for a subscription. And this is going to be a subscription-based media network. Some of it's going to be free, but a lot of it won't be. Because I want us all to have skin in the game. I'm not doing this to become a multimillionaire, trust me. If I was in it for money, I would not be an independent journalist. And so, when I was working at the Young Turks, I actually got offered a job at a corporate media outlet to double my salary, and I turned it down without thinking twice. So when I launch this company, it's going to be powered by the viewer, and that's going to be a subscription model. And we all have choices. If you want to subscribe at $10 a month elsewhere to listen to them rant about Russia, to listen to them rant about Trump and his tweets, to be distracted and focus on things that I don't think are the real threats to our democracy, all power to you. I'm not going to tell you what to subscribe to or what not to. But actions speak louder than words, and trust me, I'm not only going to be talking in my parents' kitchen. I'm at my parents right now before back surgery. I will be going out into the field, and I am going to be doubling down. I'm going to be tripling down on the Flint type stories, on the Standing Rock type stories, on the St. Louis protest type stories, on interviewing single mothers who are supporting their family of 4 on $140 a week, interviewing those types of people in Walmart parking lots. Because that, to me, is the grassroots journalism we need. So I'll answer some questions towards the end. Let me get to the topic at hand. So Bernie, of course, see, they can't attack Bernie Sanders really on policy because his policies are all wildly popular. Medicare for all at record levels of support. You got free public college, very, very popular. Break up the banks, popular. End the wars, popular. So they can't really attack Bernie. I'm talking about the media, the establishment. They can't attack Bernie on policy because then they would sound ridiculous. So what are they going to do now? And I think you're going to see a lot more of this. You got places like Politico who are now attacking Bernie Sanders for not condemning Russia enough during and after the 2016 election. So apparently, I'm going to get to the story in a minute. Apparently, Bernie Sanders, while going up against every national Democrat, every state Democrat, every local Democrat who were totally against him. I mean, I was in Iowa, I was in New Hampshire, I was in South Carolina, I was in Michigan, Wisconsin. All the state parties totally against Bernie Sanders. He had to compete with that. All the national Democratic Party establishment. He only got endorsed by one senator, Jeff Berkeley, and a few House of Representative congresspeople. So apparently, Bernie was supposed to, with a bare bones staff compared to Hillary Clinton, going up against the entire Democratic establishment, federal, state, and local, going up against CNN, going up against MSNBC, going up against the New York Times, going up against the Washington Post, who wrote 16 awful stories about him in 24 hours. He was also supposed to be condemning Russia and their lies about Hillary Clinton. I mean, I'll take on Bernie Sanders when I need to. And if you read chapter 4, again, patreon.com/Jordan Chariton, out today. You could subscribe to my Patreon. I have $1, I have $3, I have $5, I have $7, and you could read chapter 4. I think you'll really like it. You might get mad, but we should all know what happened completely in 2016 if we want to make sure it doesn't happen in 2018 and 2020. So I really hope you'll subscribe. Patreon.com/Jordan Chariton. So let me read you some of this article because it's so fucking ridiculous. Like, oh, got demonetized. I cursed. It's so ridiculous. So Bernie Sanders promoted false story on reporting Russian trolls. This is from Politico.com. Quote, Bernie Sanders is taking credit for action to combat the Russian incursion into the 2016 election that he didn't have anything to do with and didn't actually happen. Twice this week, in response to questions about whether he benefited from the Russian effort, as prosecutors allege, or did enough to stop it, Sanders said a staffer passed information to Hillary Clinton's aides about a suspected Russian troll operation. It turns out that the purported Sanders staffer who said he tried to sound the alarm was a campaign volunteer who acted on his own, without any contact or direction from the Vermont senator or his staff. When the volunteer, John Mates of San Diego, said he communicated with the Clinton campaign in local press counts, he was confusing it for a super PAC supportive of Clinton. He doesn't know why Sanders is taking all the credit. Quote, "I'm going to send him a bill for my back pay," Mates joked. "He could have called me," Mates added. "He maybe doesn't have my phone number." Mates' claims, made in 2 phone interviews with Politico, came after Sanders and staffers offered numerous and conflicting answers in the span of a few hours on Wednesday about what he did about Russian meddling. Sanders and his top aide were at turns defiant and defensive during and after his interview with a Vermont radio station, even initially disputing special counsel Robert Mueller's finding in his indictment last week that the Russians backed his campaign. Oh, Jesus. I mean, it never ends with these people. Oh, do I have comments on? Hold on. Show. Yeah. First, on Meet the Press on Sunday, he said, "It turns out that one of our social media guys in San Diego actually went to the Clinton campaign in September and said something weird is going on." Then, on Vermont Public Radio, he referred to, quote, "a guy who was on my staff who checked out suspicious activity and went to the Clinton campaign." Quote, "and he said, you know what? I think these guys are Russians," Sanders said. Sanders has not himself addressed his claims that a staffer shared information with the Clinton campaign, though a statement from an unnamed aide said he'd been basing his comments on public reporting and, quote, using the word campaign expansively. I'm not even going to bother reading the rest of this story because it's so ridiculous. Okay, so let's address the real reason Politico is writing this. And you're going to start, and we've already started seeing CNN and the New York Times and other media slowly but surely trying to make Bernie Sanders, to try and make it seem like his revolution. If I'm the media revolution, he's definitely the political revolution. I do want to create a media revolution, and I want to do it in a very similar ways that Bernie did his political revolution. You're telling me that Bernie Sanders is responsible for combating Russian disinformation? You're telling me, what is Bernie Sanders supposed to do? On the road, when he's in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, New Hampshire. I mean, what is he supposed to, while going 20 hours a day at the young age of 74, then get online and monitor whether Russian trolls and bots are posting things to help him? Like, what is that? That's the most ridiculous rationale I've ever heard. And I would say this, whether it was Bernie Sanders or even Hillary Clinton. Let's say the shoes were reversed and Hillary Clinton was being attacked for not doing enough. And I'm no fan of Hillary Clinton, but we got to keep it real. What was Bernie Sanders himself or his staff supposed to do about, quote, Russian meddling? And I wrote a piece the other day for Mediaite.com, and I've did a video on it on this YouTube channel. So Russian bots and trolls, apparently a very coordinated or uncoordinated system that was hatched out of Russia, did things like created pro-Bernie Facebook pages or wrote anti-Hillary things. So they wrote anti-Hillary things, meaning they tried to help Bernie Sanders. This is all a very not so subtle way of trying to tie Bernie Sanders to the Kremlin. This is what they're doing. You saw Anderson Cooper in 2016 try and make it seem like Bernie Sanders was, oh my Lord, he's pro-Fidel Castro, because he said some nice things about Fidel Castro in the 1980s. Fidel Castro did a lot of bad things, also did a lot of good things for the people of Cuba. And by the way, you want some behind the scenes? I was supposed to go to Cuba in December, but if you didn't notice, I was fired from the Young Turks. I addressed that in a video the other day. So I was unemployed. So I had to cancel my trip because I had no money. So I didn't get to go to Cuba. So uh, it's unreal. This is ridiculous. So Bernie Sanders, first they're complaining that Bernie Sanders said his staff contacted the Clinton campaign, but it was in reality it was a volunteer. So what? Even if Bernie Sanders' staff didn't contact the Clinton campaign, it's not Bernie Sanders or any candidate's role to like be the policeman of social media bots. And I didn't see Politico or anybody for that matter. I didn't see Politico or anybody writing stories about, well, Hillary Clinton isn't doing anything about her lieutenant, her little mouthpiece, David Brock, who ran her super PAC, Correct the Record, who had an army of paid trolls and bots spreading disinformation about Bernie Sanders, about Nina Turner, about the Young Turks, and recently about me. Yeah, share this video. Let's get this out there. Wow, I only have like 2,500 subscribers, and we already have 91 viewers. I implore you, I beg of you. See, this is what I was about to say. The Natural Progressive said, I'm late. YouTube did not notify me. I hope each one of you will turn on your notifications for live videos. I don't know how to do it because I'm not technically savvy. Make sure your notifications are on. And I truly believe that this is going to be not only a grassroots, hit the bell. It's going to be a grassroots revolution. It's also going to be a word of mouth revolution. So tweet on your Twitter and post on your Facebook and send out smoke into the sky if you have to. Jordan is back. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. If you have a couple dollars, subscribe to become a Patreon. We're at 265 patrons on my book. This is the revolution ground zero. Can I get an amen to that? And I'm not a religious man. Better than TYT Army? Ooh, you know what? I'm going to be careful because I don't want to talk about the Young Turks, to tell you the truth. I'm also not legally allowed to talk about the Young Turks. But let's just say this will be significantly different. This will be significantly different than certain independent media outlets currently are. Reading between the lines. But what's incredible about this, as somebody who covered, I think I covered probably 40 to 50 Bernie Sanders rallies, events. I never interviewed Bernie. I'd love to one day, Senator Sanders. I interviewed a lot of his campaign advisors. I interviewed a lot of his supporters. They're trying to make it seem, they're trying to like muddy the waters here. On one end, they're trying to make it seem like Bernie Sanders' revolution, the rallies that had 30,000 people, 40,000 in some cases, something was inflated about it. The Russians had an impact. So they're trying to degrade his revolution. And they're also at the same time trying to tie him to the Kremlin. Because as we've seen, and I just posted a video about this before I went live, there is now like a social media McCarthyism going on. There's a social media McCarthyism going on where they're trying to paint anybody. Oh, why did my screen just go? Maybe YouTube heard me telling the truth and they're now censoring me. You know what? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. If you can hear me, I'm going to keep going. YouTube could do whatever it wants. The establishment could do whatever it wants, but I'm going to keep going. Jen, my business partner, Jen, we should take a screen grab of the blurry screen and make a promo. They could take my screen, but they could not take my fight. Let me tell you something. Bernie Sanders, I don't agree with everything. I think he's actually been a little too far in terms of, oh, Russia attacked our democracy. I think he's been towing the line a little bit on that, if I got to keep it real. Nothing but love for Bernie, but let's keep it real. But ridiculous stories like this from Politico about, oh, Bernie, it was a volunteer, not his advisors who supposedly told the campaign, Hillary Clinton's campaign. It doesn't matter if it was a staffer, a volunteer, or nobody from Bernie's campaign notified Hillary Clinton's campaign, because it's not Bernie Sanders' role or responsibility to combat Russian interference in the 2016 election. That would be the United States government. That would be the CIA. This is getting ridiculous. And folks, I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet, even though I'm unemployed, and go buy a new iPhone tomorrow, because I think this is partly due to my iPhone. So that gives you more of a reason. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to my Patreon. That is my only income at the moment. That is patreon.com/Jordan Chariton. And I love these trolls who say, oh, Jordan, stop begging for money. Well, what do you want me to do here? I lost my job. I'm now in the process of creating a new company. So for now, my Patreon is my only income. As always, I keep it real. At the moment, that's my income. So I hope you will subscribe, not only to support me, but also I think the book is damn good. The chapter that is up right this minute, just got published, is all about the unprecedented election fraud. Thank you, Endo, for supporting me. Why no super chats? Hey, I just had a super chat last night with patrons that have paid $5 or more. I just had a chat with them. Turn on super chat. Oh boy, how do I do that? I just want to, guys and gals, I want to give you a little index into me. And Jen could tell you. Jen Elizabeth, she's my business partner. I have a hard time. Jen the other day said to me, turn off your cookies. I do have a PayPal as well. I have a PayPal. You could send your support to my PayPal. It is JRDN. That's JRDN, not JORDAN. JRDN dot my last name at gmail.com. That's my PayPal if you want to go send information there. Now, Jen said to me the other day, clear out your cookies. Clear out your cookies. I said, what? You're sending me cookies? What is she talking about, clear out my cookies? I don't have any cookies. And I got hungry for cookies. Then she said, clear out your cash. I was like, what are you babbling about? Johnny Cash? I don't know a lot about tech. I'm just keeping it real. I know a lot about corruption. I know a lot about greed. I know a lot about corrupt media. We will post a link to my PayPal. I will post everything you need on my Facebook after this. That's facebook.com/Jordan Chariton. It's facebook.com/Jordan Chariton. And my Twitter is @Jordan Chariton. And my Patreon is patreon.com/Jordan Chariton. I'll put it all on my Twitter for you right after this, so you all have it. @Jordan Chariton, all my links. But I don't know tech, but I know corruption. So I'm going to end with this so you don't have to continue watching me on a scrambled screen. I might actually go to the Apple store and just bite the billet and buy a new phone. We're going to start seeing more of this. We're going to see Bernie didn't do enough to combat Russian trolls, whatever that means. Then we're going to say, oh, Bernie said some things about Vladimir Putin in the 1980s. Don't vote for him. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. Then we're going to see, oh, Bernie Sanders, him and his wife, they honeymooned in Russia. Did you know that? Who did they talk to when they honeymooned? Who did they talk to when they honeymooned? No, Apple, Android, break from the establishment. I'm going to look into that. So pretty soon, we're going to start getting stories from Politico. Wow, Bernie Sanders had a secret meeting during his honeymoon with Jane with Russian oligarchs. That's what's going to happen. Deathly Pudding said, don't give them ideas. That's true. They might be listening. That's why they scrambled the screen. But I am an unabashed progressive journalist. I never hid that I was for Bernie. I never let it affect the facts of my stories. I don't fudge facts for Bernie or anyone else. But this is not journalism, what Politico put out there. It's not journalism when you see these hillbots on, well, they're not journalists, or CNN trying to imply that Bernie's revolution, since in a weird way, Russia somehow helped Bernie by hitting Hillary. No, it's ridiculous. Standing Rock coverage was the shit. Thank you. I just had a conversation with someone in the Native community yesterday about doing, when I come back in the field, I want to go do some reporting from Native reservations around the country. Because at Standing Rock, it was amazing, the experience, but all I really did was cover the pipeline. That was a lot in itself. I want to now go cover Native poverty. I want to cover the racism that's being hurled at these reservations by the outlandish and outside white communities. I want to cover the epidemic of kidnappings and assault of Native women. There's a lot of things in the Native community that are not getting any coverage. And Native Americans, let's keep it real. That was our original sin. Yeah, it's terrible that Trump's pushing Muslim bans and all this stuff, but let's not forget what we did as a country. Cover ice-breaking families. Yes, I'm only one person. And by the way, the media revolution. Russians caused Jordan's purple screen. I believe it. I believe it. I love this purple screen. I almost want to broadcast on purple screen from now on. It's very fitting to the times, all this suppression. I'm using Jordan's army or Jordan's rebels. I don't want it to be Jordan. I don't want it to be Jordan's army or Jordan's revolution. I want it to be hashtag media revolution, because this isn't about me. Contrary to some folks on the interweb who think I have a big head, I do have a big head, at least in the YouTube page. I don't want this to be Jordan's army. I don't want it to be Jordan's revolution. I don't want it to be Jordan's mailman. I want it to be hashtag media revolution. And some of you might think that's corny, but it's real. We need a media revolution. I can't tell you, the alternative reality in this country is scary. I have been away. Jen could tell you. In December, January, there were some dark days with everything that was going on. I took maybe 2 or 3 baths a day. I drank a couple Blue Moons, had some tacos, didn't take care of myself. But let me tell you, I did consume corporate media. I did consume some independent media. It's like an alternative reality. And I happen to know that because I was out there in the field. I see what's actually going on. I see what the real stories are. I just did, before I came on here, a Periscope. I'm on Periscope too, on water contamination in both Dayton, Ohio and Arizona. There's zero coverage of it. If you live in Dayton, Ohio, do you know your water might be contaminated? If you live in Ohio, do you know they've put 158 public schools have increased lead levels? Always watch Kyle Kalinske. He is the shit. Love Kyle. Love Kyle, love Jimmy, love Lee Camp, love some other folks that are independent. There's some folks I don't like. But let me tell you something. Hashtag media revolution. Because I'm not going to make up slogans like other people and not back it up. I'm going to back up what I'm selling here. Because I'm not just selling me. I'm selling a broader network that is going to include other reporters. I'm selling people-powered journalism. A lot of you might not know this, but a lot of my stories at the Young Turks, probably 60, 70%, came from viewers. I think I also made myself a little too available sometimes. Thank you, Brian, for signing up to my Patreon. You're keeping me fed, clothed, and alive. If you have $1, if you have $3, if you have $5, so you could read chapter 1 is out, chapter 2 is out, chapter 3 is out, chapter 4 just went up today. And if your PTSD is gone, if you were at the Democratic National Committee, chapter 5 will be out soon on the Democratic National Convention. And Darth Corey subscribed. Darth Corey, may the force be with you. Hashtag grassroots journalism. I'll take that too. And you know what's incredible? Let me tell you something. I have pitched this idea that I have to a lot of people. Several of them are media people and journalists. And you know what they tell me? Oh, that's nice. That's admirable. That's a nice idea. But you'll never actually create a business like doing in the field journalism, like in Flint and Standing Rock and East Chicago and St. Louis and Alabama. Nobody's going to pay for that. People want people want Trump. People want the controversy. People want to be the dumbed down content. And to what I say to that, bullshit. Yeah, CNN's audience, MSNBC's audience are predominantly older. And I got much love for my older audience because there was a lot of older people, 65 and older, watching TYT politics when I was there. So this isn't a millennial or older thing, but the bottom line is, let me tell you something. Not only can we create a business where we make money, because I like money. I don't need to be a millionaire, but I want to make a little money and have a home and support a family one day. TYT raised $2 million selling your content. People want it. No comment on that, but good point. Let me tell you something. 67 here. Not only can we make a business, but we will start a media revolution, and we will hold the politicians accountable. We will hold the corporations accountable. We will hold their allies in the corporate media accountable. Trust me, if you know me, I am not somebody who needs a lot. I am not doing this to make mega millions. I'm doing this because life is short. I'm 31 years old, and I want when it's all said and done, I want this to mean something. I want to help the people in Flint. I want to help the people in Standing Rock. I want to help expose not only capital C corruption, I want to show the quiet corruption, the quiet injustice. I did a disappearing middle class tour in October 2016 with my former colleague Emma. And what we did was we went from Pennsylvania to Pennsylvania to Ohio to Michigan to Illinois to Wisconsin in 4 days. I'm 66. I missed you, Jordan. I'm 31, and I missed you. And you know what? You know what we did in that tour? We spoke with a mother in a Walmart parking lot whose husband is completely disabled. She has 2 kids, and she's raising all of them off of $140 a week. Excuse me, $140 a month. That is not a democracy. That's not justice. And the disability, her husband has 3 cracked vertebrae. He cannot work. Can't get full disability. Folks, I have an update. My Patreon and PayPal links are now in the description box. So, if you were planning on going out to Buffalo Wild Wings tonight, if you were planning on going to get that $6 Venti Frappa Fucka from Starbucks, if you were planning on, I don't know, whatever the cool kids are spending money on these days, I hope you will consider becoming a paid Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/Jordan Chariton. I hope you will consider, if PayPal is better for you, sending it to my PayPal link. Because I'm not only going to be sitting here bloviating, I will be out in the field. And something that's really important, and Jen, my business partner, and I have talked about this a lot. One of the reasons that I launched Truth Against the Machine, which, by the way, we've ended because we want to start a new chapter, a new company. Truth Against the Machine was amazing for what it was. I wasn't able to be involved with it because of my TYT responsibilities, contrary to some things that were said. I wasn't involved. But I really believe, like, it's going to take a lot more than me, because one person can't be in 50 states and hundreds of cities and talking to millions of people and researching 24/7. A man or a woman needs time to eat, sleep, and pee. It's going to take other reporters. It's going to take new and creative ways to break the walls between reporter and viewer. Not in a way where, I'm going to be talking to you every day on Facebook, but in a way where we're not just reading your tweets on the show. We are talking to you. We are finding out what's going on in your communities. You are pitching us stories. We are responding as best we can. It's going to take a media revolution. Hashtag media revolution. So as I continue 35 minutes in, and let me tell you something, I am I'm almost more excited today than I was. I'm almost more excited today than I was like when TYT Politics passed, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers or 150,000 subscribers. Because there's something special about like, it's like America versus the British. We were outmatched. There's something special about like, oh, we only have 2,500 subscribers. And oh, I'm starting the live stream and like, oh, I started at 1 and now I'm at 106. There's something special about starting something truly from the grassroots, from the ground up, where it's not in the hands of a company. It's not in the hands of YouTube or a company I was working for. It's in our hands. My hands, your hands. My voice, your voice. Thank you so much, $2.80 for the PayPal donation. Please don't forget us retired people. Oh, I will not, my friend. I will not. You did so much for TYT Politics, you could do it again. That's the plan, Stan. I will be doing videos on YouTube as much as humanly possible. You might get sick of me before I go in the field. I will also be doing videos on my Facebook, facebook.com/Jordan Chariton. I'll also be doing videos on Periscope. We're going to try to make it where I could simulcast in a lot of different places. I'm also going to be doing interviews with other journalists and introducing you to other journalists working on great things. I also might do videos talking about stupid things like I don't know how to operate my phone or my bath pillow doesn't work. I knew Jordan wouldn't last at TYT. You know what? Let me tell you a little behind the scenes here, and I might get in trouble. So I was at TYT for 2 years. As I said in the video the other day, I really, as crappy and unfortunate as the way things ended, I am very appreciative for the opportunity I had. Regardless of how I feel now about certain people, I was given that opportunity. You could say whatever you want about TYT, but they did invest in me through the viewer to send me to Flint 9 times, to Standing Rock 7 times, to East Chicago 6 times, to North Carolina. But what's interesting now, I'm not going to lie to you, when I was let go, it wasn't easy, especially when you're let go for reasons that are not entirely, or actually totally false, but that's besides the point. What's really amazing now is I have never had the ability to execute my vision and that vision not have any handcuffs on it. Like when you're working at TYT or other companies, you still are at the mercy of a company. You're still at the mercy of other people that are above you that have the final decision. You're still at the mercy of, other people's subjective opinions and philosophies that aren't necessarily out there in the country. And this isn't anything about TYT. This is all media. I worked at MSNBC, I worked at Fox, I worked at TYT, I worked at 2 digital sites, and it's all the same story. You have to support Jordan like our brother and sister. You are my brother from another mother, Endo. Thank you. I don't want the change that I want to help deliver. And again, it's not only going to be me. There will be other reporters. I don't want that to be in the hands of anyone but you. I don't want to have a boss above me who I don't share the same vision with. I'll leave it at that. So this isn't only about, let me make it clear, as much as I will need subscriptions and your financial support, it's not only about that. That's a big part of it. It's about you helping to create the media you want to see. The people are your employer. I love that, George. I want to see people creating hashtags around the reporting that I and others with me are going to do. I want to see the people creating meetups around the reporting that I'm going to do. So when I go to cover water contamination in Flint, I want to meet the fans, not the fans, the viewers, and talk to them and live stream with them. I want to see the viewers telling me what's going on. Let me tell you something. There's black and brown water coming out of people's faucets in Massachusetts right now where my aunt lives. I wouldn't have known that unless viewers emailed me about it. I called my aunt. I called my aunt and I was like, you should really call your local water agency because you have black and brown water coming out in your area. She was like, I didn't see that on the news. Well, no shit, Sherlock. And I have a news alert, breaking news. Yikes, I'm in Massachusetts. Attleboro, Norton, Mansfield, Sharon all have cases of brown and black water. Don't have much means to pitch in, but I will share the hell out of your content. I'll take it. I have a breaking news alert. We have just passed 3,000 subscribers. Can the media revolution continue? And who would have thought you could do so well talking to a purple screen? Oh, excuse me. YouTube rounded up. It's a lie. Not 3,000 yet, but soon. And I will tell you when I'm wrong. And I will tell you if I get something wrong, because that's real journalism. But I want to end on this, folks. It's not only about your financial contributions, because I do not take it lightly if you subscribe to my Patreon. I do not take it lightly if you send support to a PayPal. I do not take it lightly if you are a small business owner and want to eventually do partnerships and sponsorships with the eventual company. I do not take it lightly if you, I've had some people literally on food stamps send me a check for $100. One woman in particular. I don't take that lightly. There's a lot of trolls out there who think they know me and think they know about me and who I am and all that. Let me tell you something. I'm not a perfect person. Was the credit card thing true? No, it was not true. For legal reasons, I cannot get into that, but no, that was not true. I've worked for 5 or 6 media companies. I literally have never, ever been approached by any company I've worked for, in writing or verbally, to tell me there was an issue with my spending or with anything financial. Never. And I've never, ever, I've had credit cards at several companies that were issued to me. Never, ever was I ever spoken to. So I'll leave it at that. But let me tell you something. I think that there were certain things put out there to distract you. There were certain things put out there to, let's just say, rationalize certain decisions. But you have, not only is this going to be a media revolution, this will be a transparent revolution. You will know where your money is going to. I trust Jordan with my retirement fund. Hey, I'll take it. You will know where your support is going to because you will see it. You will see it. You will see where your support is going to in where I am, where other reporters are. It's not fun when lies are put out there about you. It's not fun when you as a person have to prove a negative. When lies are put out about you without any evidence, without any facts, without any specifics provided, and then lies, they start in one corner of the internet, and then it's like stated fact 5 minutes later with no evidence or facts. Unfortunately, that's a lot of what social media is these days. It's a lot of what media is these days. But you have my word. Your money will be spent on journalism. Your money will be spent on flights, will be spent on hotels, will be spent on rent-a-cars, will be spent to eat on the road, will be spent on equipment. It's not going to be spent on going to the casino. It's not going to be spent on boozing. Trust me. I thank you dearly for watching. I will say one more time, if you relate to this, Chapter 4 of Corporate Con Job, How Mainstream Media Aids the Oligarchy. Somebody said, dude, you got to have a life too or you'll burn out completely. I've had 3 months off. I'm ready to go, baby. No, I agree. I need to have a life too. Chapter 4 of Corporate Con Job is now available exclusively for my patrons. If you want to become a patron, you could subscribe at $1. You could subscribe at $3, at $5, at $7, at $15, at $25, even at $100. And there's different reward levels. Patreon.com/Jordan Chariton. If you don't want to use Patreon, the link to my PayPal is up there. Eventually, when we launch a company, and I think you're going to love the name. We are currently working to get this name trademarked. I think you'll love the name I have in mind. I appreciate you guys supporting me. I appreciate you sharing this video, even though half of it was purple and scrambled. Turn on your notifications, ring the bell, so that when I'm live, you know it. And make sure you post on your Facebook, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your whatever, that I am back, that this is my YouTube channel. Tell people to subscribe. Tell people to tell their mother to subscribe, their father to subscribe, their sister, their brother, their man. The media revolution will not be televised because we're going to create it everywhere we want to see it. Peace.